And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that, y'all. All right, so we left off with Pete and his dad. So let's talk about what we can infer about poor Pete. After his dad had gone upstairs, Pete clenched his fist and stomped out of the room to go get a bucket and fill it with soapy water. His dad had just told him that they were having company that evening and that Pete had to help out by doing some extra chores. Pete had finished all of his homework in study hall that day and had planned on spending the afternoon reading his new comic book, not mopping floors and dusting shelves. Right? So now that we have read this about Pete, we've got to make an inference about how Pete feels, since it doesn't explicitly tell us in the text how Pete is feeling. So, what do you think he feels? Well, that is our big inference that we're trying to make. So, Pete, so if you get down into the middle of your workbook where it says, where I've circled over here for you inference, I'm going to make that a little bit bigger for us so we can see it. And it just says that Pete is angry about blank. So our inference is that he is angry about blank. Well, what is he angry about? I'm going to let you think about it for a second. Pause the video. All right, but I'm going to go ahead and tell us what he is angry about. Pete is angry about having to do extra chores. All right, well, how do I know that Pete is angry? What I want you to do is go back to your workbook up into the top, and I want you to pause the video, and I want you to underline or circle things that prove to you that Pete is angry and that he's angry about having to do extra chores. Go on, pause the video. I'll wait. So I'm assuming you've paused the video. So now now that you've hit play again, and I'm going to continue because Pete's angry about having to do extra chores. So the first thing we want to do is find the evidence that shows us that. And hopefully you circled some of those things. So it tells us down here at the bottom of our workbook for evidence that Pete, and you see where he opened those quotes, guys, clenched his fists, and what did he do to show he was angry? He stomped out of the room. All right. And I know that if someone stomps out of a room, that usually means that they're angry or mad about something. All right. And over here at the very end, they close the quotes to tell us that the text stopped. All right. Another thing that shows us that Pete is angry about having to do extra chores is that it even goes on to tell us that Pete had planned on spending the afternoon reading his new comic book. So he had plans. But I know that his plans have been interrupted because he's going to have to actually mop those floors and dust the shelves, just like it says up here in the text. And notice we have an open quote here, and we closed, sorry, that got in the way. We closed quotes down there right after shelves. So I have my evidence to show that he's angry about doing extra chores. Now, if you don't have this written in, please remember to pause the video and go in and write the stuff in red in your workbook. All right. Now, when I take the evidence plus I'll take my evidence plus my background knowledge. So my background knowledge is that I know that when people clench their fists and stomp out of a room, that these are signs that they are usually blank. So pause the video and see if you can come up with and tell me what it means to feel these things. All right, if you stomp out of a room and clench your fist. Well, I'm going to assume you've got your answer and that you've thought about it for a second and that these are signs that they feel angry. All right, so, and does it explicitly state in our text that Pete is angry? No, it does not. But I'm assuming that he is angry because he stomped out of a room and he's having to change his plans because I know those are things that I do. Y'all watch for Miss Murray stomping out of a room, that if I'm angry, that I will do those things. All right. And especially when I have to do something extra when I didn't think that I was going to have to do it before. All right. So now you can stop this video. And if you haven't gotten caught up getting all the stuff written in your workbook, this would be a great time to do that. All right.